So here we go then. It is the social, it is talkSPORT 2. Firstly, let's introduce Adrian Clarke. Clarkey, how are you?
Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm all right. It's great to see you.
It's good to see you too, by the way. And also, it's an Adrian Clarke with glasses on. And this is being recorded, so I'm sure everyone's watching this on YouTube as well a little bit later on this evening. You look like a changed man, Clarkey. I like it.
Is it in a bad way or
Absolutely.
is it all right?
Me and Jack was just saying you look like a more mature... no, you look good,
Age is
Clarkey.
catching up with me. It's so annoying because I went through life until I was sort of well into my 40s. Perfect eyesight. I could see everything, clear as anything. I'd have the small, on my Word documents, I'd have a really small font, not a problem. And just like that.
Really,
they just go, yeah.
I promise you, pulling off the glasses, mate. You're looking good. Don't panic about it. I promise you, Clarkey, between now and 5 o'clock, you're going to earn your money today because I'm going to throw you. I've literally got 400 questions on this piece of paper, and you need to give me all the answers that I want, okay, over the next hour and 54 minutes. Of course, last night, England 2, Slovakia 1. But goodness me, that doesn't tell you half the story because with 95 minutes on the clock, England were going out 1-0 down to Slovakia. It was, let's be honest, another rubbish England performance until Jude Bellingham produced a sensational bicycle kick in the 96th minute, take it to extra time, where of course England went on to win it. Clarkey, just that moment before we talk about the whole game as a whole and where England go, that moment was special, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I think it's the kind of goal that will get replayed for many, many years to come. You know, over history, I remember the David Platt volley at the 1990 World Cup, where it goes over his head, he swivels and volleys it in. It's one of those moments that you never forget as an England supporter. It was a moment of genius. I think that's the turn of phrase you used. And he's got that in his locker, hasn't he, Jude Bellingham? He's not had a good tournament at all. We've barely been able to get him into the game. But if you've got someone that's capable of thinking with that much clarity in a key moment like that, that's willing to try something that audacious in a big moment like that, you know, that's golden for any team, for any manager. Jude Bellingham is special. We know that, and that was an unbelievable goal, and it came from nowhere because England were floundering, and it felt inevitable that we were going to go out. So Gareth Southgate owes Jude Bellingham a lot for that goal because without it, they'd be home. And I think that Gareth Southgate would have managed his last game for England.
And would that have gone down? I know we had Iceland, only not too long ago. But given the amount of amazing players we have, certainly on paper, to lose in the last 16 to Slovakia, would that have gone down as one of the lowest moments in the history of English football?
It would have been...
I think worse than Iceland because of the players we have in this tournament.
It was worse than Iceland because of the players that we've got. It was dreadful. Obviously, if he hadn't have scored that, there would have been no shot on target in the entire game from England, which is just pathetic, really, against Slovakia. It would have gone down in history as the worst performance by an England team at a major tournament. It would have been absolutely embarrassing for all concerned, and I think it would have taken the players involved quite a long time to get over it because they're all talented. They're all going to be brilliant for their clubs next season, but I think the next time they would have worn the England shirt, they would have, had their tails between their legs and would have felt pretty guilty because that was a shocker. But the thing is, if we'd have lost that game, it would have been Gareth Southgate's last game in charge. So by the time the next game comes around, there'll be a new manager in place. Now, we're not so sure.
Clarkey, the fourth game in this tournament, well, let's be honest, England have been well below par. The fourth game in a row, he's picked the same attacking players who we know are all world-class players. We've got Harry Kane. No, we don't need to tell you, everyone, how good Kane, Saka, Bellingham, Foden are. Declan Rice, £100 million midfield player. Stones and Walker at the back have won multiple trophies with Man City. And then on the bench, you've got the likes of Palmer, Trent, Bowen, Tony, Eze. We know it's an England team stacked full of top-class players. But once again, it's an England team, Clarkey, where it looks like these world-class players have absolutely no idea what they're supposed to be doing. There's no patterns of play in their build-up play. They seem to be short of ideas when they got the ball. At times, the attacking players all look like they're just standing on top of each other. It's a team that doesn't know how to press. You do a lot of tactical work with Arsenal. You do a lot of tactical work with the Premier League. How do you think is the best personnel and the best system to get the best out of these players, where we start to see a glimmer, at the bare minimum, of these guys playing to the level that we know they can get to.
Yeah. Look, first things first. It's brutal. We've just won. We're through to the quarterfinals.
But by luck. Let's be honest.
By
It's
luck.
pure luck.
But we are the worst coached team at the Euros. There's no doubt about that. This team has looked clueless. They've looked like they've just met, and that is a reflection of the manager and the coaching staff, because it's their job to make a group of players gel. It's as simple as that, and they've failed in that regard. My view on the team is that the structure and the balance of the side is all wrong. It's atrocious. I don't know how you can have a right-footed left-back and then a left winger that wants to play in the midfield. There's just nothing going on down the outside. And Ian Wright was the one who suggested Bukayo Saka go out into left. And I didn't hate that idea at the time, because I thought at least that gives the team a little bit of balance. Having a left footer that stretches the game, that can receive the ball, and rather than the first touch being inside, it's opened. They can open out and move it quicker up the line. That's what you need. You need that kind of balance on both sides. So that needs to change, in my opinion. The balance in midfield has been poor. There's so much wrong with it. I have to say that Kyle Walker, for me, needs to be taken out of his misery. I think he's had a dreadful tournament. I think it's the worst I've ever seen him play in the game against Slovakia. I would absolutely go with a Trent Alexander-Arnold, just because of the quality that he can provide inside the final third. And let's be honest, if Kyle Walker's defending like he's defending at the moment, then it's not a downgrade to go to
Clarke,
Trent.
I'm so happy. So I'm a Liverpool fan, so I've always been a little bit biased with it. I think Trent, I think up until maybe 18 months ago, I think he was really poor defensively, and I think he cost Liverpool too often. And I think there became a thing where, like sometimes on Twitter, one player makes a mistake in a game. Now, what he does in the rest of the game, that's the clip that goes viral. I think Trent, for the last 18 months at Liverpool, I think has improved massively his defending. And I think sometimes he gets way too much criticism defensively. And I think you're absolutely bang on the money. I think Kyle Walker gets way too much praise defensively. Like, he has one good game against Mbappe, and there's that stat that he didn't get dribbled past by Mbappe.
Oh, he's quick.
He's quick, but for me, I don't think there's too much in it with Trent and Walker defensively. And then, as you said, 100% Trent on the ball. He is the best part. His ability on the ball.
Well, for a team
that's
not creating very many chances, you want as many creative players in the team as possible. And Trent Alexander-Arnold is miles more creative than Kyle Walker. I mean, that's clear to see.
And he didn't bring him on though yesterday either.
No, exactly.
That's what I could understand. Even late on to the game, when you're chasing a goal, you're putting in crosses on the right-hand side. You need ideas. You need someone to make something happen. You got a bloke on the bench who will walk into any team probably in world football to create something, and he still sat on the bench. Do you know what? Let's hold that thought. Let's hear from Gareth Southgate, who's been explaining why he made so many changes so late in the game.
Well, you can't lose your shape. We still felt we were actually creating openings and in control of the game. So we already had Bukayo at left back. We had Cole on. We've got Jude on. We've got Kane on. Who do you end up taking off? That's part of the problem, because if you're too open, then you concede a second, which we very nearly did from a crazy bit of play, really, and then you can be a mess. So you've got to think through exactly why, who, is this the right moment? If you were looking physically, you'd have taken Bellingham and Kane off, and the impact they can have, and then they go and do what they did, and you think, that's why we didn't change. So. Yeah, look, some days it works for you, some days it doesn't. I can imagine what was going on in the 91st minute, but we've got over the line. The players have shown incredible character. I'm very, very proud of them.
What do you make of that, Clarke?
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, the players have got Gareth out of jail. I think that's the big issue I've always had with Gareth Southgate is the caution and his in-game decision-making. I think it cost us against Italy when we were in control of the game. And he was so slow to react. Well, he didn't really react to the pattern of the game, and then it was too late. And I think the same happened against Croatia in the World Cup semi-final. Everyone could see what was happening, the joy that Croatia were getting, and we did nothing to stop it. So to be 1-0 down against Slovakia, facing the most humbling defeat, possibly in England's major tournament history, to not put on a second centre forward until the 93rd minute.
Yeah.
I just think was ridiculous.
5th minute even, Clarke?
I think it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He says, well, who do you take off? Well, he took off Foden. And that's who he should have taken off 20 minutes earlier, because it wasn't really happening for Foden. It hasn't really happened for Foden in the tournament because he's had a right-footed left back behind him, and they both want to go on the inside. It's just not happened for him. I think it has to be maybe either Foden or Bellingham, or you have to drop Bellingham into the Kobbie Mainoo role. So yeah, Gareth Southgate, he didn't explain that very well indeed. There's no justification, in my opinion, for waiting so long.
Lots more to get through, Clarke, between now and 5 o'clock. We're going to talk about what do England do now at centre-back now that Gahey is suspended. How do we get the best out of Harry Kane? Lots of calls saying Ivan Toney should maybe partner him. Lots more to get through. The England debrief carries on next on talkSPORT 2.
Was ist das? talkSPORT